Well, hello again and welcome to the Win, Learn or Draw podcast, because the Tigers never lose. They either win or they learn. And unfortunately, we've kicked off season 2025 with a lesson to the mighty Newcastle Knights, might I add. So, Kalen Ponga and his guy put up a good show. Let's get Hammy to try and sum up that 10 to 8 lesson in, we'll give you 30 seconds, Ham.
Thank you.
Take it away.
Well, what a game it was. The Tigers started on a fantastic day, full house out at the 9th one of the world at Campbelltown Stadium. Promising signs early. The boys go left. Gerald Skelton's over. Joel Kane will be happy because he tipped him to be the top try scorer this season in the 6th minute. Things are looking good. Dewey kicks the conversion. A little bit of a dour game. One for the purists as we approach halftime. The only other points that come are a penalty goal from Adam Dewey in the 28th minute. The second half, it's a grind. Terrell May goes off. The Knights score 2 tries. Fletcher Sharp goes through a bunch of tired defenders in the 51st minute under the post. Greg Marju at the end of the game. It's 10-8. That's the best we can do. Despite having a lot of field position, getting down the Knights end quite a lot, Kalen Ponga finds a way to keep getting the ball out of the in-goal, back into the field of play. We did our best. Unfortunately, a little bit clunky. It's a tight one. 10-8 lesson to the West Tigers. We learn in the first game of the season. How'd I go?
Well done, mate. 45 seconds.
Okay, so nowhere near it, really. But, hey, we're here to learn. We're here to learn. We're going to get better as the season goes on.
Episode 2, come on.
The point is, and I'm sure you'll probably agree with me, it was a little bit of a grind, that game. But overall, I actually wasn't, really disheartened. I thought there was some good signs there. What did you reckon?
I thought the same thing, and I think we'll touch on this a little bit later, but the press conference kind of spoke volumes about what the coach and the captain thought of the performance. I'll speak a little bit more about the energy that was in Campbelltown Stadium, because it was pumping. Probably until that controversial call right near the end. But it was, look, as far as lessons go, we'll take it.
Yeah.
If you have to learn in round 1, it's a good round to learn.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's something you can build on there. Now, look, and we'll get into various things in more granular detail later, but I thought, obviously it was Jerome Luai's first run with the boys as well. We did look a little bit clunky in attack because last year it was basically all just give it to Galvin. There was a bit of a deviation from that this year, and that will take a couple of weeks to work out.
Definitely.
But I thought we defended pretty well. When you read the stat sheet, it doesn't read particularly well. We missed 51 tackles.
Yeah.
But if you miss 51 tackles against a team that features Kalen Ponga and Bradman Best, and you only concede 2 tries, that tells me there was a hell of a lot of scramble and a hell of a lot of effort.
What about Pole chasing down Fletcher Sharp?
Outrageous.
Oh.
Outrageous. So
that front rower, number 10 on his back, and he does something like that.
Exactly. So, look, the point is, no, it wasn't pretty. Yes, it could have been better, but at least we didn't get blown. Last time we played at the 9th one of the world, we conceded 60 points. This was a far cry from that. Look, yes, the game was winnable, but I think overall there's something there to build on for the rest of the season. So in terms of learning, I think this was a good lesson.
I agree. Conceding 10 points, no matter who it is or the situation, is fantastic. We could have got rolled by 30, 40, and we might have in the past, but I feel like there was still a fair bit of effort around. And from 1 to 17, it did feel like everyone had a go. And we'll touch on Thrive or Survive soon, because
in great detail. What a doco that was.
Man. That's about as good as it gets for rugby league docos, I think. I scoured through some of the comments on the YouTube videos, and there's a few people outside the realm of the Tigers, which is what we're hoping to get.
That's right.
As listening to this podcast as well.
Welcome.
Welcome. That we were, they were commenting things like, well, this is the best piece of rugby league content I've ever seen. I'm not even a Tigers fan.
Mate,
so
they obviously hadn't stumbled on Win, Learn or Draw just yet, but that's fine. They'll find it eventually.
Yeah, we could have got a plug in Thrive. Maybe we should do a Thrive or Survive.
That'd be good. Maybe
boot camp.
Our pre-season boot camp next year. To be a fly on the wall there. We're going to take you inside how we go about preparing for the season.
Yes.
But yeah, to their point, it was great access.
Yeah, fantastic.
And really good to get to know some of the key characters and some surprising voices as well around the club in a little bit more detail. I thought it was great. Yeah,
let's unpack it a little bit later, mate, for sure. I believe, what we want to do here as Tigers fans is also drive the volume of members that are coming on board for the Tigers, because it means a lot to the club, right?
It does. Hashtag our jungle. Let's get that trending. That's
our
the
jungle.
Hashtag this year. We are both paid up members, which is very exciting.
Correct.
But yeah, if you haven't got one, if you're here, you listen to the podcast and you love the West Tigers, or you love whatever club that you support, go out and get a membership. It's the best way to support the club, show them that you really care. You get some cool stuff as well. So I'm still mine's. I think it's on its way. I'm going to get the sticker on the back of the laptop for next week's episode.
Great.
But yeah, get on board and hashtag our jungle. Get that trending.
And we didn't even make up hashtag our jungle, did we? That's a
there.
West Tigers special. So
is.
yeah, get on board for sure. Like Hammy said, it's very important. Any NRL club, if you're listening outside the realm of the Tigers, as we touched on before.
Yep.
If you can jump on board the Tigers, better. But if you can jump on board your own team, all power to you as well.
Absolutely.
Now,
on that note as well,
yes.
More around win, learn, or draw. If you found us, welcome. A strong. If you're one of our
True.
400 Instagram followers after week 1, welcome aboard. We're very grateful to have you. One of our 100 and something YouTube subscribers. Thanks for getting on board. If you're not one yet, though, please go and give us a like on Instagram, give us a subscribe on YouTube, and give us a positive review and a 5-star review. We're going to read out reviews, but you've got one rule for them.
it has to be 5-star.
Yep.
If it's anything less, we're not going to read it out.
Yep.
So don't try to get funny.
Yep.
Just whack a 5-star review.
Get on
Even if
board.
you hate it, just whack a 5-star review on there.
If you want to say
we'll read
something negative, say it, but give us a 5-star review because it all helps the algorithm. So help us. That will be a big help. And thanks in advance.
Yeah, keep liking, keep subscribing if
Yep.
you're not already. We need it badly.
Yep.
I wanted to also say, we're an international podcast, Hammy. I've looked at
Yes.
some of the insights and data
Yep.
to back this
I
up.
love data.
Yeah, me
Yep.
too. I want to say hello to look, the numbers aren't big.
Yep.
One listener in the United States.
Yep.
One listener in Canada. One listener in Ireland. One listener in Japan.
Konnichiwa.
One listener in South Korea. One in New Zealand and the UAE.
Kia ora. And hello. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. Hello, everyone that's across the
Well,
globe.
listener in Korea, did you say?
Korea, yeah.
You know what I love about Korea?
Yeah.
Got plenty of soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of your best.
Hopefully we haven't lost that listener in Korea after that one. Stay with us. Stay with us.
Also wanted to say g'day to our celebrity listeners. Now, I don't know if they're listening or not, but they're West Tigers fans, so assuming they are.
All right, yep.
We rattled off a few last week. Big shout out to Sri Lankan cricket icon Russell Arnold.
Yes.
Who is a West Tigers fan.
Has he liked the page?
Let's check that.
Okay.
Let's go back, see if
We
we
should
got
tag
any.
him in some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if any of these guys are listening, which again, I'm assuming they are, call us, give us a follow, give us a message. We'll get you on the show.
Yep.
Jimmy Barnes.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Cole Chisel's own. Ash Barty.
Ash Barty, a Tigers fan.
Mate, I'm reading this off Wikipedia, which is a very
Well,
trustworthy
how can it
source.
be? Yeah, that's enough for me.
a couple more. Tim Cahill.
Timmy Cahill.
Yeah. Michael Clark.
Yep, I knew
we knew
about-
that. Vic Darchinian. Daniel Gill, both boxers. So the list, Sam Constas.
Sammy Consis.
Yep.
Phoebe Litchfield, I think, from the women's team. I saw her on the hill at Leichhardt last year. So I've got a couple of cricketers who get out of West Tigers. Stewie McGill.
Stewie McGill.
He's a West Tigers fan.
Fair income. That is quite the list. So yeah, if any of you are listening, please give us a DM.
Yeah.
We'll get you on for sure.
Or if you want to dob in a celebrity listener, tag him in the comments. And
Yes, that's a
we'll
good
go out of our
point.
way to reach out to them as well. Obviously, Anthony Field, the Blue Wiggle,
Yes.
out of the blue, great
Friend of the
read.
show.
If you
Friend
haven't
of
got
the
it
show.
already, go and check that out.
Yep. He's definitely a friend of the show.
Yep.
Again, he doesn't know it yet, like you said
He
last
was at
week.
Campbelltown the other day as well.
He was.
Yeah.
Now,
he
speaking,
actually stole your now you do some great content on your Instagram of putting blurry photos up. It's kind of your kind of your thing.
That is my thing.
And
yeah.
he kind of took that technique the other day out at Campbelltown, did a selfie in the stands and blurred it up a little bit.
So maybe he is a follower of.
Mate, potentially
of
he is.
Unsporty
Actions
Morty.
speak louder than words, don't they?
That's
so
true.
If he's copying your photography style,
Well, I watch a lot of Wiggles, so
Yeah.
he has got to repay the favour.
Yeah.
Speaking of the crowd, mate, let's get into the set of 6.
let's do it.
Yep. Look, tackle 1. I just wanted to. I mentioned it before, but I want to give it praise again. The crowd at Campbelltown was
Yes.
fantastic. It's about 13,500 people.
I had big FOMO. Wasn't able to get there, but you were representing the show, which you
was.
did very well. Some great content
Yeah,
came out of it. But
yeah, I did.
How was it out there? It was good.
It was good. I did a little get ready with me video,
Great
which is
stuff.
a TikTok trend. My wife tells me I wasn't totally across it, but she said you got to call it get ready with me. I actually called it get Joel ready with me.
Yeah, I like
One
that.
of the West Tigers greats.
It's the little 1%ers, isn't it? Yeah.
I thought you might like that.
Yeah.
But yes, I got out there, got to the Leagues Club, place is buzzing with anticipation.
Yep.
The kickoff, like when Jerome led the boys out and the pyrotechnics were going off.
Yep.
It was like chills in the spine kind of moment. Carlton drives were going down perfectly on the hill, the Southern Hill.
Great.
And then
Southern Hill, great. Just a great place to be.
it's one of the best hills in rugby league.
Yes.
Top 2. And
We've got a bit of they're kind of our thing, the Hills, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
We're doing well.
we do Hills
Spoiled
well.
for choice.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. And yeah, the Leagues Club was pumping. First half, like you couldn't have asked for a better 40 minutes of footy to be involved from the live crowd perspective. Half time was just like, we're gonna win the comp. Like there won't be a lesson learned this year. We're going to win everything that's possible to win.
We'll be teaching the lessons. There was rumours and chat of potential standing O's at 8-0 up at half time. Did you see any sections of the crowd that were getting into that sort of stuff?
Guilty.
Yeah.
I was.
You're on your feet?
I was on my feet. I went with one of my good mates, Kenny, who's a Knights fan, who sat next to me, and he was in all sorts, and I was so up and about. Now we won't touch on the next 40 minutes, but we ended up going back to the West Leagues Club, and the place is still pumping. Like there's something special about West Tigers home games. I know you and I have frequented the Orange Grove before.
We have.
The Royal Norton in Leichhardt as well.
A couple of West Tigers bitters.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's all just West Tigers bitters. It's all just, I don't know, the energy around a West Tigers home game, win, learn or draw.
Yep.
Is fantastic. So yeah, big shout out to the Campbelltown crowd. It was great to be a part of it.
Yeah, look, and how big did you say it was? Roughly about
13 and a half, I think.
That's good. That's pretty for 6 p.m. Friday, round one.
Yep.
That's good gear.
And that's it. It filled up too, because Friday 6 p.m.
It's
we're
tough. It's not easy
we're
to
all
get out.
toilers.
Yep.
We're all working hard.
Yep.
To pay for our memberships, pay for our tickets. So 6 p.m. touch hard to get there, but they got there, and they showed the boys support, and I think it was a good crowd in the end.
Yeah, well, kudos to you. If you got out there, good stuff. Keep showing up as we always do, win, learn or draw. But I had big FOMO, even though it was a tight loss, but it did look glorious there. The sun was out for the bulk of the game.
We got a bit wet on the hill, which we didn't see coming, but it was a fantastic experience. Tackle 2.
Yep.
So after the game, as is mandatory for all coaches and captains, the press conference took place.
They're contractually obliged to be there. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Who
big tick. They're both there, so that's a positive start.
That's a good start.
Yep.
After a lesson too.
Yep.
There are a few comments that kind of stood out to me. Benji was relatively optimistic, much like this poddy.
Yep.
On how we performed and how the game unravelled. He said we controlled the game in portions, which I think we did.
Yep.
What do you reckon?
I'm with him. I think definitely when Terrell May was on the field, he obviously went, I think both tries we conceded while he was actually off the field.
Okay.
I thought he was enormous. I thought he was really good.
Yep.
It was a little, there's probably a couple of moments we got away with a few things. I thought if Bradman Best's no try had have gone up as a try, they might have found that one tough to overturn.
Yeah.
I think we maybe got away with one there.
Yep.
But I think for big sections of it, we were down their end a lot. I touched on it in the 45-second review, supposed to be 30-second review. We got down there a lot, got the ball into their in-goal, but Kalen Ponga was just good enough to get it back out of there. Like, we had a lot of pressure on him, and I think after one of those sets where he got it back out of there, the next set they actually scored their match-winning try.
Yeah, he caught it on the full in-goal. It was, he's a dynamic fullback.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to not find him when you put a kick in, so tough going.
Yeah, I think, if a few things had gone our way, or, if we're a Coruscant and a Dream Buller being in the starting lineup away from probably winning the game, I'd say.
I agree. And no offense to Heath and Hopi and TDS.
No, but when Gus Gould said we had the third best spine in the comp, it was with those other two guys in. These guys are great kind of depth, but I think when any team that's missing two of their starting spine is going to find it tough.
Yep.
Particularly when they haven't played together a lot to start with. So
correct.
Yeah, I think we had every chance to win the game, as Benji kind of touched on, but I think we were right there with him. Yeah.
One of his quotes that he said was, "But all in all, the things we want to be better at were there." And we had definite improvements, so we'll take the positives away. It's round one, as we were chatting about.
Yep.
We would have loved to win today, but we'll go back and work hard for next week.
Love that. Love working hard.
It's all part of learning, right?
Good to hear.
Look, the energy in defence was good. We defended our try line. There were probably 6 or 7 sets in a row we made errors. This is what Benji's saying. So we made errors.
Yep.
And when you make errors, you learn.
You do.
And then you have to defend.
Yep.
And they defended really well.
Yes.
I just thought it was a pretty good defensive effort.
I think so. I think the attitude was there. And I touched on it before. Like, when you read the raw data, ROAR data, that is.
Yes, of course.
It was, 51 missed tackles, but to still only concede 10 points, that demonstrates that, there was a couple that were missed. And as Denon says on the Bloke Show quite often, not all missed tackles are equal. It showed a lot of scramble and, Pole chasing down Fletcher Sharp. There was a lot of attitude there that I haven't always seen in the past. And sometimes when things get away from us, the whole team can kind of drop their bundle and it ends up being 30, 40 points. We didn't see that. So there was definitely better attitude there in defence, which is a yes from me.
Yeah, for sure. And, 51 missed tackles is better than 52 missed tackles. So
exactly,
that's a positive.
That's a message they can take home.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing that Jerome Luai said, they said, how do you feel about his debut? And he said it was just a raw emotion.
Yep.
And I'm pretty positive he's giving the raw emotion segment of the Win, Learn or Draw podcast a shout out there.
Don't touch that dial. Raw emotion. So
raw emotion coming up soon.
Good to see. We'll have to get Jerome on. Good to see him plugging the show.
Well, speaking of plugging, tackle 3, Hammy, you're on Matty Johns.
I was
last week, Thursday night.
Yep.
The debut. How'd you go? Were you nervous? I'd have been shitting bricks.
I was very excited for the opportunity. I did a little bit of filled in with Kempy and Matty on their show on SEN over the summer a little bit.
Yep.
So it was probably good that I had a couple of runs on the board there leading into it. Probably made things a little bit easier. But
and you worked with your son a little bit, right? With Cooper Johns as well.
Yeah, that's right. I was doing a bit of babysitting of Cooper over the break and in Vegas and stuff like that too. So that probably helped. But it was great. He wanted to talk West Tigers, so he's had a couple of photos of where I met the Hay Thurston bloke there.
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
Look into the future, you said, right?
Well, I think I think honesty is the best policy on when you're on a show like that. And,
that's true.
It really that is probably going to be me in 30 years or so time.
They did prod you on the Tigers a bit, the West Tigers a bit, and that goes to show that the interest in the club is as high as it's ever been.
It's growing.
Right?
Top of mind awareness of the club is hopefully going in the right direction. But yeah, throw a little plug for the show in there as well. So hopefully if you're a listener who's come across from the show the other night, welcome.
Yes.
But no, it was good fun, really good fun. And looking forward to doing that Thursdays and Sundays right the way through the season.
Oh, and Sundays as well.
Yeah.
Mate,
Means I'm probably going to have to leave a couple of Leichhardt games a fraction early, which I don't love. But
I'll be there, mate. Don't worry. I'll be covering all bases.
There.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tackle 4 then, Jerome's debut. We obviously touched on this earlier, but you got a little spiel
I just
for
wanted
me?
to kind of, and get your thoughts on it as well.
Sure.
I thought, it wasn't the slickest and prettiest debut ever, but I thought there were some really good signs there.
Mm-hmm.
He, by and large, kind of took control, did a lot of kicking on the last tackle, Him and Galvin, it's going to take him a while to work it out exactly who's going to do more of that sort of stuff. Obviously, last year, everything went through Galvin. And there was times maybe where, I think if you have a look at their kicking meters, they're actually pretty similar across the day. So I don't know if that's a deliberate tactic or if they're going to, work on that a little bit more as the year goes on. But I actually thought he was pretty good, had some nice touches, obviously had a little bit of a hand in that first try down the left.
Yeah, that little right to left pass that he did there, he summed up that situation really well. And when it happened, that was the first thing I said to Ken, who I was with. I was kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, it just felt like he summed up that situation perfectly where we might not have, that footy IQ has been lacking a little bit with the Tigers for a long time. And it feels like he will be able to provide it. And like you said, once we add in those other two spine members, then you got 4 smart blokes sitting 1, 6, 7, 9. I think, I think it was a decent debut. He probably felt the kind of what I touched on last week, probably felt a little bit of the world on his shoulders maybe in the second half, and that's what probably let him down. But all in all, I think the energy he brings, the way he handled himself in the press conference afterwards, the way he spoke in Thrive or Survive, like I don't think 40 minutes of footy is going to, define who he is as a West Tigers player.
I completely agree. I think he'll be better for the run, as we said, didn't play any trials as well. So it's going to take a couple of weeks, as I said, to get it going. But
and he looked bloody good in the West Tigers shirt, didn't he?
Geez, he looked good. I mean, it just suited him to a T. I mean, with the headgear on as well. Like, there's just something about he just looks outstanding in it.
He does. Everyone does.
Yeah, everyone does.
You do. JFTA Petrochemical Services 05 jersey.
Shout out to him.
Yep. Do good work.
Yeah. Look, I thought I'll take it. That's a pass for me in game 1.
Yep.
And I'm just looking forward to, as I say, the 9 and the 1, the regular ones that we're going to have through the season coming back in. It's going to make the world of difference, I think, to how he goes about things as well. I'm
sure he'd take a pass mark as well on his first game. I'm sure Benji would have taken a pass mark for him as well.
Yep.
Tackle 5. This bloke would have had beyond a pass mark, right? Terrell May, you mentioned it before. Tackle 5, as we mentioned last week, the most important tackle of the set.
Yep.
Tell me about Terrell May's debut.
I thought he was excellent. What a great signing, and delivered on. If he can keep that sort of standard going through the year, he's exactly the signing we've needed and wanted for quite a while. He made the bloke team of the week this week as well.
He did,
and that's in a week where we had Payne Haas and Paddy Carrigan from other teams that were outstanding.
Yep.
I thought he was right there with him. Very impressive. 34 tackles, none missed.
Oh,
not often we've had
51 missed across the team, and he wasn't a sole contributor.
Nope. And that's been a big area for us where, in the past, our big boppers in the middle of the field potentially have been a little bit suspect. Just to that point as well, Alex Twile, 34 tackles, none missed as well.
Yeah, he kind of sets the standard for that, doesn't he?
Exactly.
I mean, looking at the Thrive or Survive doco, that guy is in good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. So those two together, really, really good. Throw on top of that as well, 189 metres, 69 post contact. He had about 5 offloads as well. I just thought he was an absolute handful. And
5 offloads is big. Second phase play, as they call it.
Exactly, which is a bit of a throwback to 05, how we used to go about it.
Yeah,
but I also love Benji's comments in the press conference.
Yeah.
Going, people have said, well, there's a bit of a stigma or an assumption that he doesn't like footy. He loves footy, Benji said. And I think we saw it today in the way, with in the right environment. And he's had great comments about, like, Benji's the kind of coach who is seeing off the same hymn sheet as me. Family first, footy second, which is a big thing with Terrell as well.
Yep.
I thought, you couldn't you'd have to give him a 9 or 10 out of 10 for his first hit out for the Tigers.
100%. Yeah. And then Luai mentioned it on the way there. They were driving together and he's chewing his ear off. You can tell he's excited. He wants to play footy. So I don't know where those unsubstantiated comments came. Fires me up, sorry.
Well, they came from a club that can't win the comp. They've conceded 50 points.
I know.
So we can put a line through the Roosters.
Just in the top 16. They weren't until yesterday.
Yeah.
They were 17th.
Scraped in
the top 16.
So they can't win the comp, and they've given us their best player. So we'll take that.
Thanks, Jookies.
But they, great signs from Terrell May. Loved it. Doing some great vlog content as well, Terrell May.
I saw his channel.
If you haven't checked it out, get around it because, we've kind of been going on this journey with him now since he's left the Roosters and how he's kind of been going about preparing himself to beat the Tigers and all that sort of stuff. It's been good gear.
I think it's around our algo as well. If people watch Win, Learn or Draw, you're probably going to see a little Terrell May post.
Some Terrell,
you'll get served a bit of May.
Yep.
Now, finally, mate, tackle 6.
Yep.
Thrive or Survive. Again, mentioned it before. It's one of the best pieces of rugby league content to ever be put out.
Yep.
I watched episode 2 last night. Finally got around to episode 2. I watched episode 1 on the debut night.
Yep.
As a content creator yourself, and a well-established one, what did you think? You told me to say that. It's on the script. What did you think? What did you think of the doco?
Part out about him saying he read it off the script. No, I thought it was fantastic. I've got it on the podium of West Tigers docos for me. I've got it right there with This Day Forward in 2017 and Tales from Tiger Town in 2021. I love this one because I think those other ones kind of came after the dust had settled and we hadn't gone so well in the season.
Yep.
This one's coming right now when I'm full of hope. So the timing of this doco is great. It's taking us behind the scenes with Benji, who, there's a lot of chat about Benji hasn't been a head coach before this. So to get a bit of access to see what he's like, see what his relationship's like with the players.
Yep.
All the players talk about how good of a bloke he is. They want to run through a brick wall for him, all this sort of stuff. And I think we got a real good snapshot of that in this doc. I don't know what you thought, but I thought the way that he spoke was like concise, showed a lot of empathy.
Yep.
And he really picked his moments to kind of like get around to different people and ask them to do different things or reassure them that they're made of the right stuff. But I thought getting that snapshot across both episodes was great access in this doco.
Yeah, I thought Benji was so well spoken. I can't see why he didn't go for a career in the media because that must be a bit easier than coaching the West Tigers. But it shows how much he loves the club and how much he wants us to succeed. The only thing I thought is imagine being those young blokes or like Appy, who's not that much younger than him, when he's sitting there not doing any of the exercise and barking in his ear. It's like, obviously there's been a bit of conjecture about him being so young, but the way he demands respect in that environment is just, and it was on show through that whole doco. And kudos to the Tigers for getting or allowing us to have a look behind the scenes.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw the credits at the end, but did you see who one of the camera operators was?
Who?
Chris Hyington.
I did see that,
Man
actually.
of many talents.
I did see that. Is there anything he can't do?
Oh, mate.
Well, he can't be trusted too much in front of the camera because we saw his post grand final
yeah,
interview
yeah,
in 2005, one of the great interviews.
Yeah.
I did notice that. That must have been, obviously when they get right in the throes of the military camp and stuff like that, they might just need to go, look.
Who's the toughest West Tiger in history?
Well, yeah, just hold something and point it at the boys. But because, you did get a lot of access right in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Kudos to him.
Kudos to him.
Yep.
The other thing I wanted to call out from episode 1, what about a 19-year-old kid saying, yeah, put my hand up, I'll carry a pipe of water around a track for God knows how much it weighed, God knows how far it was.
Yep.
And all the other boys are like, wow, mate, what a cracking effort from Jerome Luai.
Now, spoiler alert. And probably should have done spoiler
everyone's
starts,
no one's missed it.
No,
it's the show of the century.
Exactly. If you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen it, tough. We're going to go into detail now. So they get given the option at the end of a huge day where they've been up since they got woken up like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
They've been working, doing drills, carrying water, all that sort of stuff until almost 10 p.m. They go right over to finish the day off. Either everyone here can do 90 burpees together, which even if you've done nothing for the day, getting asked to do that is an absolute killer.
Yeah.
Or one person can carry this big pipe of water around, I assume it's about a kilometre obstacle kind of course.
Yeah, I reckon, yeah.
And the voice at the back goes up as Jerome Luai. And everyone turns around. Like, you get the hairs on your arms stand up when you think back to it, but all the boys get around him.
Lead in the pencil, as you said a couple of times last week.
Yeah.
It's a pencil filler.
It's a massive pencil filler. And the boys didn't just let him do it on his own. They chase him around, kind of help him, and are there to support him as he looks like he's about to pass out and fall over towards the end. Eventually, look, he gets very close, doesn't quite make it, but he gets about 2.8 kilometres of the way through the 3 kilometre course, and the guys running the thing go, in our 15, 20 years of running this exercise, that is the best individual effort we've ever seen.
Fair dinkum.
And I just went, yes, because he's got so much talent. His first year was outstanding. He was, on the podium for the Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Second year probably didn't quite hit the heights that he'd hoped.
Yep.
Got going, had a bit of an injury, but he's always been kind of, from the outside looking in, he's kind of a quietly spoken, young guy. But to put the team on his back like that and have a real rip, that made me so excited for the season that this guy could be about to have.
It looks like he's packed a bit of beef on as well, which he probably needed to do, which is good. But even I think the respect he would have earned from his teammates for doing that and saying that and putting his hand up is sensational. He could be, one of our greatest ever fullbacks.
Yep.
Kind of Shannon Gallant, Shannon McDonald level.
I think even better. I think he could even go up to
better than Shannon Gallant and Shannon McDonald.
Brett Hodgson sort of.
Yeah.
He features in the show.
He was in the show.
Yeah.
There was a bit of comic relief in the doco as well.
Yep.
It started, one thing that really stuck out to me, and I don't know if he's going to be at the club in the near future, but Clemmer dodging those gym balls. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
When they were chucking all those gym balls in, Luai's getting hit, this and that. Clemmer was like Neo from The Matrix.
Yes.
He was moving around. I'm like, he's never been that mobile on the pitch, I don't think.
I did notice that. I wonder whether Benji maybe wanted to see a little bit more, can you just ride the bump of a gym ball rather than dodging it like that?
Yeah.
That's what we need in the middle at the moment. Maybe that's what's potentially cost him.
Maybe. That was the exact moment.
Made for some great cinematography though as well.
It was the whole thing.
That might have
was
been
so
Chris
well.
Hyington's camera work, that particular scene.
I think he was the main cinematographer.
Yeah,
because it was
DOP.
It was fantastic.
Yep.
The other bit of comic relief straight after was the pin drop at the Brisbane Aquatic Centre.
Yeah.
How funny seeing big, burly rugby league players off a 10-metre diving board, pin dropping, saying, this is one of the most terrifying things I've ever done in my life. They run at Payne Haas.
They do.
They get tackled by Paddy Carrigan.
Yep.
How can dropping off a 10-metre board be as terrifying as that?
Well, as a club, we're not really renowned for diving. Other clubs are.
Yes, true.
Last year, Manly were accused of doing a little bit of it early in the season. It's never been our thing at the Tigers. We're good, honest toilers.
Good point.
But it was good stuff to watch it. A lot of them were able to conquer their fear. Tristan Hope, we learned diving, not his thing. Wasn't a big fan of the 10-metre drop, but that's fine. He makes up for it in other areas. But it was good gear. Well worth a watching, and good seeing a lot of those boys kind of conquer their fear of getting off the 10-metre diving board.
Yeah, I think there was a few that stood out for me. There was Twal.
Yep.
He was quite funny. Galvin, he was quite funny, and Taruva.
Yep.
They were all Comic relief.
Twile wearing his customised Alex Twile commemorative first try Budgie Smugglers as well.
Was he?
Which we love to see.
Budgie Smugglers commented on one of our. So shout out to Budgie Smugglers.
They were a little bit disparaging about how much learning we'll be doing this year, but
that's all right.
if they want to give us some free smugglers, we'll
We wouldn't say no.
But hey, look, some of them struggled with the diving, but they all took the plunge into the 2025 season at Campbelltown on the weekend, and got to respect that.
Oh, mate, great connection there.
Yep.
A couple of two more little things from the doco before we move on. One of the things Benji said, the lesson we learned, it was Appy. The lesson we learned from that when the blue team, the red team, which was the captains, didn't win.
The older guys.
Yeah. The lesson we learned was that, sometimes there isn't an easy way to do things. Sometimes you just got to grit your teeth and fight through. So they're talking about learning lessons pre-season. They are fully on board.
Yes.
The Win, Learn or Draw podcast philosophy.
They certainly are. No, it was good when Benji, at a certain point, he had them all mixed up in various teams. And he goes, I want to put all the experienced guys in one team. I want to put all the young guys in another team just to test them, see how they can kind of pipe up. And he was in Galvin's ear. He's like, come on, get them going. You've already earned their respect by what you can do. Give them a bit of voice as well.
Yep.
It was great to see Jerome doing a lot of that unprompted. He's just a weapon. He was
they mentioned that, didn't they?
Leading the charge. Everyone it was just great to kind of see all that. So if you haven't watched that doc already, Thrive or Survive, and it comes off the back of a Benji Marshall quote in one of the sessions with the team. He goes, are you here to thrive or are you here to survive? Because he wants people who want to thrive. So
good.
Great wordsmithmanship from Benji there.
Absolutely.
And a great title for the doco. Hopefully there's a lot of thriving to come this year.
I agree.
Yep.
Okay. That wraps up the set of 6.
Yep.
I think now it's time to get a little bit nostalgic. Go down memory lane, which is a great place to be. A lot of Tigers fans love memory lane for good reason.
Well, that's right. Puts us in a better headspace than we have been. Again, we're full of hope for this year, but the last few years have been a little bit tough at times. So it's a little bit of a modern twist on an old favourite of just the top 5.
Yep.
You quite rightly suggested in one of our pre-season production meetings. Which we'll get a bit of a sneak peek of on our version of Thrive or Survive next year, about why don't we do a little bit of a twist on that, the top 05, because that was probably our happiest time as fans.
Yeah. Good twist. That was clever by me.
Really
I think that was
stuff.
a couple of West Tigers bitters deep, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Yep.
A bit of learning juice, which was good. Now, what we've gone for this week is just top 05 West Tigers players you haven't thought of in a while. Now, this is very subjective. Some great suggestions came in through the DMs on the Instagram page.
Yes.
But here's where I kind of settled with them.
Okay.
So I'm
excited to hear this, Hammy.
Yeah. And let us know in the comments, who are your top 05 West Tigers players you haven't thought of in a while, or is there a category you'd like us to rank? Here's where I've gone this time. First player is West Tiger number 144. And in fact, a listener of this podcast, or at least a follower of the Instagram page. So welcome to him, Matt Grote.
Way. Oh, Grody.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
17 games for the club between 2011 and 2013. He was a schoolboy prodigy, came out of the same St. Greens class as James Tedesco back in the day. He who must not be named, obviously. For
trader. Unless he comes back.
Yeah, unless he comes back. Always welcome back. Debuted off the bench. And then these days, he's a strength and conditioning coach. Give him a follow at MG_strength. Get around him. Thanks for listening to the show. Now, after he left us, he became a bit of a journeyman. He went to St. George Illawarra.
Yeah, I remember that.
Didn't play a game for him in first grade, but he spent a season there.
Yep.
Then he went overseas. He went to Doncaster, Dewsbury. Then he came back and played a bit of Q Cup for Central Queensland, the East's Tigers, Wynnum Manly, and South's Logan. So
wow,
he spent a bit of time, getting around the place. I thought he had a lot more first grade footy at the Tigers in him, to be honest. It would have been good to see him play a little bit more.
Yeah, he had big raps on him, I remember. As you said, a schoolboy prodigy, if you will. Unlucky MG. It's good to know that you've played for all those big clubs though. Yep. East Tigers as well. That must have put a bit of juice in his veins.
So many synergies there. But obviously towards the end of his Tigers career, a little bit of injury kind of crept in. But thanks for stopping by. We'd love to get you on at some stage, but give him a follow at MG_strength in the meantime.
Fantastic.
He's my first one that I hadn't thought of in a while. Next one, Tiger number 89, Matthew Riek.
Oh, Dato Canaries legend.
Matty Riek played 6 games for the club in 2005. He played 92 first grade games around the place. He played for the Panthers and Cronulla. He first came to my attention as one of the fastest players in Rugby League Live 2.
That's right.
His speed stats were right up the top, and he was in the default West Tigers run-on side there. So I spent a lot
Spread it.
Exactly. I just spread it out to him. I think he was on the left sting.
Yeah.
And you just be able to step through everybody with Matt Rieck. So a lot of good memories there. He was signed by the Tigers at the beginning of 05. He began in the lower grades before being called up to first grade in the middle of the season for a 6-game patch.
Yep.
A rumoured falling out with West Tigers head coach Tim Sheams saw him drop back to the lower grades where he remained for the rest of the season before he was eventually released. But he had a couple of big coups. He scored 3 tries in first grade twice, and he also scored 5 tries in a reserve grade game, which I think was a record for the Sharks as well.
Really? What a player. I remember him in that rugby league game.
Yep.
He was a pace demon, I'll call him.
Yep.
He's a South Coast boy, like myself, so a lot of respect. Now, the pronunciation there, I think it might be Reek, or were you just being nice? Because Reek is...
I was being over...
over phonetic.
CK.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. How do you pronounce it? Is it
Matty, if you're listening,
Yeah.
we'd love to hear from you because, Dapto Canary's legend.
I want to get to the bottom of that falling out with the coach as well.
Yeah. Sheensy, if you're listening too, we can get them both on.
That'd be great.
Have them air it out.
Settle the score after all these years. That's what we're here for, to bring people together on Win, Learn or Draw.
Love it.
So here's my second one. Next one, West Tiger number 116, Reece Hanbury.
Wow.
Reece Hanbury played 19 games for the club between 2008 and 2009. He then went on a bit of an odyssey. He played before that 2 games for South Sydney. He was a sort of a winger, fullback kind of role.
Yep.
Then he went over and played for the Crusaders Rugby League, which is a short-lived side out of Wales. They actually played out of... Have you seen... what's that doco? Wrexham.
Wrexham.
Yeah.
Welcome to Wrexham.
They played at the racecourse ground there. Same ground.
You're joking?
Yeah. Yep.
Really? The Mighty Crusaders.
In a team which featured players like Jared Samet, who used to play in the NRL.
Yes.
Clinton
Jared
Tchaikovsky
Samet.
was a Wrexham Crusader as well. So he had a couple of years there, and then he had 6 years at the Widnes Vikings, played 174 games for them. So actually ended up carving out a pretty handy career.
174 games for the Vikings.
Yep.
That's quite a career.
Not a bad stint. Not a bad stint. So 225 first grade games overall. Fullback, halfback, 5'8". He was a triple threat. And he's coming in at number 3 of my West Tigers players that I haven't thought of in a while.
I haven't thought of Reece Hanbury since his last of those 19 games for the West Tigers.
2009. So it's been 16 years since you thought of him.
16 years. Sorry, Reece, if you're listening. Promise you'll be at the top. You're Toma for me now. Was it Toma?
Top of mind awareness.
Top of mind awareness.
Doing these ones. My next player I've got here is West Tigers number 149, Tom Humble.
Wow. Good call.
So good that Kendrick Lamar actually wrote a song about him.
Yeah, that's right.
Which topped the charts, and I think might have even potentially won a Triple J Hottest 100.
Yeah, it was up there. Yeah. If not.
Featured in his Super Bowl performance as well. 15 games for the club in 2012. For me, this bloke was the OG Tyson Gamble. Very similar.
Right. There's similar names too.
Yeah.
T Humble, T Gamble.
Humble, 2 syllables.
Yep.
He played, a bit of impact off the bench, a little bit of number 14, but he'd often come on and kind of play 5'8" or a bit of hooker.
Okay. What years, sorry, Hammy?
2012.
Okay, so this is the year. 2012 was one of the bigger disappointments, bigger learning years in West Tigers history. We went into that year as premiership favourites.
Yeah.
With the Newcastle Knights.
Yep.
Because they got Bennett and we got Adam Blair.
Yep.
And it was like, we are ready to roll. And we had Tommy Humble.
Yep.
So you would have thought we would have made
all the ingredients were there, just didn't pan out. So he's my 4th player I hadn't thought of in a while. Oh, and he also, how's this one? He played for the Queensland Residents in 2009 and the New South Wales Residents in 2011. So a reverse Greg Inglis, as we call that in the biz.
Oh, yeah, an RGI.
An RGI was pulled off by Tom Humble. So there you go.
Nice work. Well done, Tommy.
Well done, Tommy. Haven't thought of you in a while, but...
no offence.
Hopefully you're enjoying a bit of top of mind awareness off the back of that. My last player that I haven't thought of in a while, he's a bit more of a recent one. West Tiger number 243, Zach Seeney, 4 games for the club in 2021. You may also know him as Barry Dawson, the Cougar.
Yes.
Looks like it might have been his son, potentially.
Yeah, I think it was.
Burst onto the scene with 1 try and 1 disallowed try at, I think it was Wynn Stadium against the Dragons.
Yeah. It was a memorable debut.
In fact, he ended up being on the front and back page not long after that, just because he had the big blonde mullet, he had the moustache.
Like a Pappenhausen-esque look.
Yeah, Timu Pappenhausen was sort of the vibe that was coming out. So He only had 4 games with us. He then moved to the Eels, where he didn't play a first grade game, played some Reggies. But he's a dual Tiger, because this season he's joined the Castleford Tigers in the Super League.
Oh.
Scored a try on debut in their
Again?
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's on the front and back page of the Castleford Gazette or whatever the newspaper is over there. Let us know if you saw him.
Well, we do have 5 UK listeners.
Yeah.
I bet he's one.
Come on, guys. You've got to pull your weight over there in the UK.
Yeah, especially Castleford fans.
Let us know how he went. But he's played 4 games for them now as well. Hopefully many more for him, because he's a cult hero and he's a Tigers player that I haven't thought of in quite a while.
That's fantastic. So that's your 05.
Those are my
top
05 this week. Are you happy with those? Honourable mention goes to Rocky Tramachi, who played 6 games.
Yeah.
He was West Tigers player number 100, but I couldn't fit you all in. You know, it was a stacked field, but there's 5 that I haven't thought of it. Are you happy with those overall?
I'm happy, mate. I would have been happy with any 5, really.
Yeah.
I do think about Tigers players a lot.
Yep.
From the past, so you did well to name ones that I hadn't thought of in a while.
I got off the beaten track.
Yep.
Good.
Todd Goodwin, 4203 on YouTube, actually compiled a list of 5 as well.
Yep.
They're pretty good. Hassan Salah.
Yeah, yep.
Yep. Marco Halloran.
Yes.
Gray Vianney.
Yep.
A lot of people thought it was Gary Vianney, but it was Gray.
50 Shades.
Lincoln Withers.
Lincoln Withers, of course, played with the Raiders as well.
And
Actually, when I was working at Boost Juice in 2007 in Woden
Here we
Plaza,
go.
I
Here we
served Lincoln Withers a mango magic. And I was so starstruck. When we came through and I go, what's your name? He goes, Lincoln. I was like, yep, that's Lincoln Withers. Better not stuff this mango
Dead
magic up.
giveaway.
Anyway,
Yeah, you might have
he never
released a
came
video.
back, so maybe I did.
he
Lincoln,
come
reach
back?
out in the comments. How was it?
How'd he play that weekend? Do you remember?
He might have actually pulled out with food poisoning. Now that come to think of it. But yeah, Lincoln Withers, he's one I haven't thought of in a while.
Then the final of the top 5, top 05 for Todd Goodwin is Richard Villasanti.
Oh yeah,
Did he play for West?
yeah. Remember the
Wow.
name?
Well, he was the one who nicked all that money from the. Was that not Richard Villasanti, the prop forward for the Kangaroos?
Oh yeah, he played for the
He played for New Zealand and the Kangaroos.
yeah, and did he play for the Raiders as
Yeah,
well?
he played for the Raiders.
Yeah,
he played for the Warriors.
Mid 2000s. I wonder if he did play for the West Tigers.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I wish we had like what Joe Rogan has, where the guy looks up stuff. But anyway, really impressive list there from Todd Goodwin as
That's
well.
good.
But a really impressive list.
That's what
list
it's
from
all
you.
about. Just little trips down memory lane. Did they or didn't they play for the club? Although that's all part of the conversation when it comes to the top 05.
Nothing like an expert fan podcast where
Yeah.
you actually know the answers to the questions.
Yeah, but that's my top 05 this week.
Well done, mate. That was really good. Now, what we're going to go into now is the raw emotion for the week.
ROAR for those playing at home.
You've got to remember it's ROAR.
Yep.
It's
a very clever double entendre about the noise that a tiger makes, and also the emotion that pours out of you when you have just experienced a game. So that's what
like Jerome did.
Yeah.
And plugged it.
Yep.
I've gone through again the West Tigers Will Never Die podcast. Facebook page.
Yep.
One of my bookmarked
page.
one of my bookmarked sites on Google
Might as well
Chrome.
be homepage.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
It should be. I've got two posts that I want to read out.
Yep.
I want to know what you make of them. Number one, if you can remember how important Robbie Farah and Brett Hodges, I think he meant Hodgson, were to the 2005 Tigers team. That is the type of impact I expect Appy and Buller to have this week against Para, and the difference to the loss against the Knights.
Is there an echo in the Facebook page from our pod? Great minds think alike.
It could have been. Maybe it's my alter ego. I don't
burner.
know.
One of our
My
burners.
burner.
Yep.
To'a will replace Fatape. I don't know about that. We should have more defence on the outside. The fight for number 14 will be interesting between TDS and Latu.
Yep. Well, I do agree with that.
Yeah, Latu's been training at 9 and can cover 6 or 7. And considering he is contracted to $500,000 a season, which I believe, my maths is correct, is $500,000.
Yep. Give or take.
It's a lot of cap money running around in New South Wales Cup. Mm-hmm. What do you think of all those points there?
No, they're great points. It echoes my points around our 1 and 9 potentially being the difference between a win and a loss on the weekend.
Correct. Win and learn.
Sorry, our learning on the weekend.
Yep.
The other point about Latu final, yeah, that is going to be interesting. I would probably go, if I had to pick one of them, if Appy's fit, I think Latu gives you a bit more coverage on more positions.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be going with him over De Silva. Although De Silva I rate highly, and I thought he was great. He was named to start, but came on as an impact player, which I think is good.
Yep.
When the sting comes out of the game, I think his ability to scoot and see stuff and give good service is great.
Yep.
I do still think he's probably got a little bit of size to put on, a little bit of defence to kind of improve on. Yeah, Latu, I think. I agree with who was it who put the comment in there?
Not me.
Not you. Great. I think I agree with that person that, Finu's going to be, I'd probably go with Finu.
Yeah, nice.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I love Talon De Silva's eyebrows.
Yep.
So if that means anything.
Strong eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's. I think I'd pick him.
Yep. That's fair. I can't really argue with that.
Okay, good.
He's got stronger eyebrows than Latu Finu.
That's the prerequisite to playing 14 for the Tigers.
Yeah.
And
if that's what you're after, you've probably
he's got it under wrap.
Yeah.
Number 2. This is a really good post. We didn't lose on Friday night. We either win or we learn.
Yep.
63 likes.
Yep.
Tiger emoji. Later found out scrolling through the comments that this is a listener of the podcast.
It is.
Yes. They mentioned that they're a listener and this is where they got it from. And then a follow-up was, didn't mind episode 1. So great. Shout out to the 2 fans in there.
Yep.
Few of the comments related to that post. They were quite funny. First was a positive one.
Yep.
That's a great way to look at it. A very refreshing comment. That was really feel good.
Yeah, I like that. Just kind of bringing it up a bit. That's what we're here for.
Number 2, this isn't under 10s, mate.
Oh. Yeah, well, stop trying to piss on our bonfire in the comments. We're just trying to get around the boys. Yeah.
Number 3, how many points for learning?
Look.
0. So we're not about points.
No.
We're about learning.
That's right. It's an education.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've been learning for 13 years.
Mm-hmm. So much knowledge. And we're about what you just wait. When Appy's back, we're going to start to implant that knowledge.
Exactly.
It's like, what do they say on The Simpsons where they're learning karate? They go, you got to fill your head with knowledge before you can start to break blocks of ice with it. And that's what we've been doing for 13 years.
They say that.
They do.
Well,
We're Bartlett's karate.
That's a good motto to live by.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's about it for Raw Emotion this week. I think it's just so good to get a plug that wasn't a direct plug from a fan out there. So
we'll take any plug.
We will.
Yep.
And we'll plug wherever we can as well.
That's right. And we were discussing this in the, not the green room, in the orange room earlier.
Nice.
What we're going to do, thank you, we're going to open this up this week, Raw Emotion. Eventually there will be a hotline we can call and you can get in touch with us. What we want you to do this week, if you want to be a part of Raw Emotion next week, we want to make this kind of a better audio experience.
Right.
Send us a voice note to the DMs of the Win, Learn or Draw Instagram page. Now, bear in mind, you've only got 60 seconds to play with on an Instagram audio message, which I think is good.
It's not 75 seconds, Hammy. You can't go 15 over.
It's not. Learn from what I did earlier. That's what we're here for. Win, learn or draw. Now, get in there, though. Give us some good, concise thoughts. Let it be raw, whether it's a win, a learn, or a draw.
How do you spell raw?
ROAR.
Oh, gotcha.
Just for those playing at home, we should get a little super down the bottom.
Yeah, yep.
But get it on there, and we'll play 2 or 3 of them next week on the show. If there's some good comments to read as well, we'll definitely do those. But if we can get a couple of passionate voice notes in, that's what we're fishing for next week's show.
And hopefully there is a mountain of positivity coming out of this week's game, which we'll touch on at the moment. We're recording this on a Monday, so we haven't seen the Tigers or the Parramatta Eels lineups. No. But what we can safely say is that Parramatta went down to Melbourne. And to be honest, every time you go down to Melbourne, it's a field trip. It's like the year 6 trip down to Canberra, right?
Yes.
It's a learning.
Yep.
You're pretty much guaranteed to learn down there.
Yep.
And they learn a lot.
They copped it. And, sorry, Eels fans, if you're listening, you officially can't win the comp after round 1. You copped 50 points. So,
and they're 7-8. They're not even in the top 16.
No. You're down where you belong. And
well, you should have been last year.
It could be back-to-back 50-point drubbings this week. As we head out to the 10th one of the world, it's actually your home game at Combat. That's part of our jungle as well. It's one of our 5 home grounds, so stiff bickies. We're coming to get you. And I think this is a great opportunity to exact revenge on what happened at the 9th wonder in the last round last year. And
we touched them up in a trial already.
We did.
We're 6 spots.
We've already had a look at you.
We're 6 spots above them on the ladder at the moment. I don't know if you've seen the ladder, but we're 11th.
Yep.
They're 17th. Fox Sports actually have us at 10th.
I like that. Yeah, I saw that yesterday on the Sunday Matty John show. I said, call it there. I'll take 10th.
10th.
Close to back to where we belong at 9th.
Stop the count. Stop the count. We'll take 10th. But this weekend, Sunday Arvo game, which is our sweet spot, right?
It is. 4 p.m.
We love a Sunday Arvo game.
We do.
We're out at one of our proudest home grounds, Combank Stadium.
Yep.
How do you think we fare?
I think we fare well. I think Mitch Moses, former player at the club,
Trader.
doesn't want to bar it. He's sitting the next 5 weeks out as well.
Do you reckon he was just dodging this game
so.
and then had to cloud it?
I think so. I think that's what it was. I think that's what it boiled down to.
Yeah.
Look, if they played how they played on the weekend and we played how we played on the weekend, we'll still win. But I would expect us to improve on the performance from last week.
You generally do when you learn.
You do. Hopefully we
improve.
can take those and implement them this week. But, I'm hopeful that Appy should be back now from suspension.
Yep.
And he'll have a bit of an axe to grind because he got suspended against the Eels.
He did he?
So looking forward to having him back. Jerome Luai, hopefully he's back as well. Those two guys are going to make such a big difference.
Yep.
And again, Jerome Luai is going to have another week under his belt. So
even Terrell May, right? They've both had hit-outs. I think Benji was really impressed with all the new guys.
Yep.
They've all had hit-outs in the Tigers jersey now. So now it's back to business.
Yep.
They are going to be raring to go on Sunday.
That's right.
And like you said, there's plenty of revenge to be had, even from round one, but also from round 27 last year to be like, right, this is our time to stand up and show what all this preseason kind of hype has been about, and we need and we will thump them.
Yeah, and Lockie Galvin as well. It's a bit of a personal one for him. The Eels said he was too small, wasn't going to cut it as a first grader. Let him go. So
little did they know he could grow a goatee.
Yeah. Egg on their face now.
Jeez,
egg on their face. So look, there's a lot of good people there ready, players in the side ready to roll. Hopefully everyone's fit and firing, ready to go. Obviously haven't seen the teams yet, but I'm confident. I think I'm confident of getting our first, giving our first lesson out of the season to another team.
Yep, I agree.
So very optimistic over here. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm feeling 13 plus.
13 plus?
Yep. Actually, I'm feeling 1 to 12.
Okay.
Because, we need to be conservative here.
I'll just take them head to head.
I'd be happy with a W.
Yep.
And I think this is an opportunity to, as I mentioned before, actually quantify all this hype we've had and this squad we've built against a team that's pretty susceptible at the moment. I was listening to the call on Triple M yesterday. Footy on the radio is pretty good too, I must admit. Listened to the call on Triple M yesterday, and James Graham was saying Parra just could not get that first contact right.
Yep.
So the Storm would just roll through him every set. And if we have big boppers like Terrell May's, he's like Fred Astaire with a rat tail. He has some of the best footwork for a front rower. Adam Fanua-Blake, like if he can kind of beat off that first, excuse my language, that first tackle, then I think we're in for a good result, because if we win the middle, then we've got enough talent out wide to win.
I think so as well. And just to that point about starting sets well, Joel Skelton, didn't even talk about him from the weekend.
Oh, no.
Unbelievable. Over 200 metres, such a strong runner. Really reminds me of Taniela Tuaki.
Yep.
Great start to the set. Taruva as well, very impressive.
Yep.
So, throw Buller in on top of that. I think, hopefully we can get on the front foot like Melbourne did. And, as I said, I was really impressed with our forwards and our front row rotation.
I don't know if you saw in the comments, we were talking about your new sign for Skelton. You obviously had too good, too strong.
Too big, too strong Tuaki.
Too big, too strong Tuaki. One of the comments was Beltum Skelton.
Yeah, I like that.
That's pretty good. Maybe we'll give that a run at one of the games soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to be those guys that bring signs, right?
Yeah. I want to get that Tristan Hope, Barack Obama one done up that we spoke about last week. And shout out to Roasty for getting that made up and collating it with us.
Genuine friend of the show, too.
Genuine friend of the show.
He is a friend of the show. He shared a lot of our content over the week, so thanks, Roasty.
Thank you, Roasty.
Thanks to Rue as well.
Yes,
Rue gave us a little
shout.
The great
Rue. Yep.
Yeah, we're in good areas with some good rugby league podcasts.
We're in good company. That's right.
We are in excellent
If you're
company.
another podcast that hasn't reached out yet, please do. We'd love to, spread the good word.
Collaborate.
Exactly.
As we love doing.
A bit like Benji Marshall's team Collaborate from Celebrity Apprentice a few years ago.
Are you going to drop that in every episode?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, look, that's the win, learn or draw potty for episode 2. I think we covered a fair bit today.
Certainly did.
As Hammy said, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you're here at this point of the potty, you're probably going to like or subscribe because you've hung in there for quite a chunk. Yep. And we'd love to hear from you as well. If you want to DM, if you want to get across Insta, YouTube comments, whatever, we'd love to hear from you. So
that's right. And don't be shy. Raw emotion. I want a good volume of potential voice messages to play for next week. And I'm hoping It's going to be a win of some sort, whether that's 1 to 12, 13 plus. I don't really care. Get in touch. We'd love to play a couple of those next week. But in the meantime, we'll see you in the top 16.
Top 16, here we come.